Hey everyone, Luke here with episode 2 of our Eurotrip 2020 series. If you'd like to follow along with the entirety of this series, check out our Euro 2020 playlist, which will feature all of the episodes as they're posted. From where we last left off in episode 1, we were staying in our hostel in the town of Southease, preparing to go to the Normandy region of France by ferry through the town of New Haven. It wasn't long before we boarded the ferry and had a really lovely, pleasant ride along the English Channel. The ferry ride is quite nice, and especially at the beginning and the end, you get some really lovely cliff views. First on the England side, and then you also get some pretty nice views on the France side as you get closer to Dieppe. This is really a fun way to travel in my opinion. I always love traveling by train or by boat. Even though it takes a little bit longer, you feel like you're on a lot more of a journey than when you fly somewhere, where I often feel very disconnected from my destination. Once we arrived in Dieppe, we went through Customs and Border Patrol, which was a really quick and fast experience, and then we walked through the downtown on the way to the train station. We stopped a few times just to enjoy our views. This was our first time in France outside of Paris, so it was actually really fun to see a different side to France. We found Dieppe to be a cute and charming port town, so definitely do take the time if you have it, just to kind of enjoy walking around, taking your time, not being in a rush. From the train station in Dieppe, we took the train to the city of Le Havre, which is where we were staying the night. The next morning, we took a bus from Le Havre to the city of Honfleur, where we crossed the famous Normandy bridge that crosses the Seine estuary. This bridge may be of interest to people who are interested in architecture, and particularly the architecture of bridges, because this is quite unique in its shape as well as its length. Upon arriving in Honfleur, it really didn't take us long to discover how cute and charming this town was. Our first stop in town was at the Église Saint-Léonard, followed by a walk to the Vieux Bassin. These are just really great areas to stroll and take your time walking around and enjoying the area. We followed this up by visiting the Église Sainte-Catherine, which was originally built in the 15th century and is France's largest wooden church. Once back in Le Havre, we decided to walk around the city a bit and learn a bit more about why the architecture in Le Havre is a bit more modern than a lot of other cities in France. And a lot of this had to do with bombings that happened in World War II that significantly affected the architecture in the city, and they decided to rebuild the city in a new way, in a more modern architecture style, and this makes the city stand out from a lot of other French cities for that reason. The material of choice was concrete, which is a bit unique and doesn't sound very interesting, but they used this material because concrete is relatively cheap, and the post-war budget was significantly affected because France had spent so much money on the war effort. It is this unique building style of making ornate buildings out of concrete that allowed the city to be recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In particular, I would say the gem of this is the Église Saint-Joseph, which is just a stunningly beautiful church that is made entirely of concrete. It doesn't sound very appealing when you hear that it's made of concrete, but you really do have to see it to appreciate how beautiful it is. And we were really surprised at how ornate and stunning this church was. Another area worth visiting is the Hôtel de Ville du Havre. From there, you can walk to the Place de Général de Gaulle, which features the Monument aux Morts, which is a commemoration of those who were lost during the World Wars and is quite a beautiful art display. We finished off the day walking around the waterfront along the Plage du Havre before heading back to our Airbnb and wrapping up for the day. Alright everyone, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and check out our next video, episode 3, where we'll take you to other regions of Normandy, including Bayeux, Rouen, and Étretat. See you then. Bye.